The economic impact of coronavirus remains a major problem for Nigerians. Every day brings a different challenge. For renters, the story has been a disturbing trend of default in payments occasioned by the problems of lack of functional mortgage system.
The mortgage companies, if they can't get from the National Housing Fund, what they go to? They go to get money or funds from the commercial banks where money is available for trading. So that becomes a challenge in its own end. And that's where we are in this country. We need to really get ourselves together and do a proper roadmap.
For most Nigerian landlords who adopted the long-term rent payment system, the impact of the coronavirus outbreak on the real estate market is nothing but news. Their tenants are grinding their teeth with leaking wallets.
My mom actually just called me around, was it May or April, that they've increased their house rent, which I happen to be the person that makes the payment. So in that aspect, directly, it has affected me. And I was surprised because when we look at the situation of the country, everybody is on lockdown, nobody is going to anywhere, and suddenly somebody somewhere just feel they can just increase the house rent. So definitely affected.
The unlawful practice that allow most landlords in the major cities force their tenants to make down payments of not less than 1 year has become another subject of controversy. In some cases, tenants are expected to pay rent 2 years upfront.
I don't know how I will cope. Though the payment has not been made, we were given a month notice to make payment from July, and this is September. I've not been able to pay.
With one of the most rigid rent payment systems in Africa, Nigeria has the majority of landlords collecting upfront payments on apartments. This is despite the fact that most tenants receive their income on a monthly basis. An endless housing crisis, coupled with a poor housing policy and greedy landlords, means renters in Nigeria are having to double up to meet up with payment obligations as the country continues to gallop through the pandemic.
Some offices even cut down the salaries of their workers. We all know the situation of the country, so we should just have patience with one another and not overnight increase house rents.
But at a time like this, when coronavirus has almost brought economic activities to a standstill in Nigeria, some landlords are making a difference. One of such rare Nigerians is a 64-year-old Madam Ezenwa Emos, who has slashed the rent for her tenants. I sought to know what prompted her to do this in a time when others are taking undue advantage of tenants to demand more.
It's because of the problem in the country. It's very difficult for people. That time of epidemic, people did not go to work. We were indoor throughout, no money, no food. So increasing house rent now, it does not help those tenants. That's why I say, let me help so that they can be neat to others to learn from it.
While few landlords who collect rent on a monthly basis are seeing high default rates, as some Nigerians have either lost their jobs or have their salaries slashed by their employers, Madam Ezenwa thinks differently.
Many people troop in every day, every month, every year. So as they come in, the increase of house rent enter. Let government give us free hands so that we can afford. Give us even the so-called land use. We're supposed not to pay. We're supposed not to pay land use. I'm a retiree. They should help retiree not to pay land use.
A report by the estate agency professionals says more than 60% of tenants will not be able to pay their house rents in Nigeria this year due to the coronavirus pandemic and its crippling impact on household income. But tenants like Patience Onweke are happy they won't be part of these statistics.
Very excited. It's only God that searches her that know how I feel, because it's not easy. Mama just do it for me because no way to get the money. I don't have anybody, no mama, no papa, no husband. She's the only one that I have, so she did it for me. Did what? She said that I should give her half of my rent, not for the whole year. She just cut it off for me. Said I should pay her for 6 months and leave 6 months.
With rising job losses, salaries on hold or slashed, the residential and commercial property market has been recording steady decline this year, and if the situation continues, analysts fear the worst.
People have given some of their some landlords and some property managers. I know of some estate surveyors who have discussed with some of their property owners to allow a bit of rent gap for some of the tenants, because you already know what they are going through, and those things, agreeably they are working, but the challenge is that rents are not really going up. For commercial offices, some people are shrinking their spaces because the space has been vacant for how long, in spite of the fact that they have their equipment there. They are not occupying the place because a lot of people are working from home. The banks, you will see that not all the banks are opening at the same time. They tell you per week, this branch will open, that branch will not open. So that tells you that they can forgo one branch and their operations will still go on. So a lot of things are really happening. We are not seeing the total effects of this on rental income yet.
For now, Nigerians continue to struggle to meet up with periodic obligatory payments in the face of dwindling economic fortune. An increase in default rate is affecting the traditional real estate players and landlords who are highly dependent on rental income.
Some people, their own business is relying on rental income. They have a lot of houses, and even when you are talking of retirees, a lot of retirees built those houses as their own retirement benefits, or some of them collected their retirement benefits and used it to build the houses so that they can have sustainability. The challenges retirees are faced with government and all that. So at that point, it becomes difficult to begin to dictate to them that don't increase rent and all that. But I think this is a matter of interface between the property owners, property managers, and the landlord and the tenants.
As everyone continues to hope for the light at the end of the tunnel, the few landlords who are slashing their rents may be the new examples of good citizenship in the face of failing housing policies. Karima Salami, TVC News, Lagos.